Hey YouTube viewers, this is the Gen 2 911 GT3 RS in lizard green, and we borrowed this car from Circle Porsche in Long Beach, California. I'm here with Chris Young. We're shooting a video for his autofocus channel on YouTube, and as you might have seen in the GT3 video that we did with my car, that's the place where I bought my last cars. It's a great motorsports oriented dealership, and they really know how to spec a car. And you're going to see some great walk around videos that Chris has shot inside the showroom. There are a couple GT2 RSs, GT3s, some really great cars that Eric has in the showroom and around the dealership. Let's walk around this car. It's very exciting. Driving it, it is different from my GT3. Not so much in performance, because there are some weight gains because it's got the wide turbo body, it's got some extra duct work, but it does have 20 additional horsepower that today when we were driving it, we never really got to the point where we probably feel it. It's definitely stiffer. It has solid metal joints in the back. Mine are more flexible bushings, so this car definitely does ride harder. My GT3 is absolutely a daily driver, both from the torque and horsepower range and also from its comfort standpoint. So let's talk about some of the details. Much like my GT3, it has this area here that can serve to exhaust air from the front end, also in part, along with some of the vents on the side, take away any lift that can be generated from the front. This car, unlike the standard GT3, has these NACA ducts which funnel air down into the area of the brakes and the wheels for additional cooling. Going around the side here, this has been a trademark of the GT3 and GT2 RSs, are these extractors to reduce the amount of lift that can be generated at speed under in the wheel wells, and also can pull away heat. This is the Weissach Edition. We'll show you a couple details about that, but it means it has additional carbon fiber. You'll see carbon fiber on the mirror caps. There's carbon fiber on the roof, and this hood is entirely carbon fiber, and I'll pop that in a moment and we'll take a look at that. There's some things on this that I really like the way this was spec'd out by Eric. This car is for sale at Circle Porsche. Things like the black door handles that pick up some of the black accents on the cars, and then of course it has the special black wheels with a lizard green trim that picks up the color of the car itself. This car's wing is bigger and higher than mine on the GT3, and I'm known for taking some corners very fast, but I probably have enough downforce on my wing. Actually, you can actually see better out of the back, and it also has this integrated spoiler. And again, like the standard GT3, it has vents for exhausting air from the rear wheel wells as well. I really like this carbon fiber wing with Porsche logo embedded in it. And when we're going to turn the car around in a moment to get a shot of it where we can get some sun on the driver's side too. But we'll start it up and you'll get to hear this awesome 4.0 naturally aspirated boxer engine come to life with its horizontally opposed 6 cylinders. As I said, I just absolutely love this car. This car only comes with PDK. My GT3, there was the option either way. I had always been a manual driver, but chose PDK because I had it on my 2010 Turbo when it was the only transmission offered, and my 2015 Turbo S. These are just great cars, and I'm finding I'm downshifting more. I'm usually in manual mode, downshifting, getting into corners, coming out of corners, and I love the PDK. I do miss shifting occasionally, and sometimes I get to drive a car like Eric might have a Boxster, and it's fun to always go back to manual. Let's flip the car around and give you an idea how it sounds when it starts, and then we'll take a look at some of the interior and other features. So we've turned the car around, you've heard it start, you've heard the throttle blipped, you've heard that naturally aspirated engine. Again, if we start from the top, we've got this awesome carbon fiber wing coming down to an integrated spoiler. A venting here to get some of the engine heat out of the engine compartment. We won't pop this because all you see are a couple fans, which you've probably noticed. In the back, there's the signature dual exhaust on the GT cars, which is pretty cool. And I noticed on the 992s that were just introduced, they're going to have exhaust outlets a little bit more like the GT cars. If we walk around the car, on the side you'll pick up a little bit more detail of the vents here for exhausting air and perhaps to some extent pressure coming down and out the vent. Again, this is the turbo body, so these intakes on the side are functional in terms of driving air to the engine, unlike my GT3, which has the air intakes at the bottom of the rear window. If we take a look at the inside, we've got carbon fiber sill plates illuminated. We've got the pull straps here, another weight saving against the door handles that are in most of the 911s. This has the Weissach package and also the fixed carbon fiber bucket seats with not too much adjustment, and you'll see the Weissach on the headrests, and there's also, in the passenger side, there's the Weissach emblem on the dash. And then I popped the hood too. We talked earlier about these vents for extracting air, and we're going to take a look at the carbon fiber underneath the hood. This is a little bit unusual because when this car was produced, they weren't showing the exposed carbon fiber, so it's painted carbon fiber, but you can see that the carbon fiber underneath the bonnet here, and it somewhat lightens the hood over the aluminum hood that I have in my car. And then the Nakaducts channel air through the hood down into these ducts to add cooling to the brakes. Shock absorber towers here. And here's an interesting fact that Eric shared with us at the dealership earlier today. You know, I've always heard that Porsche on the GT cars, GT3 RS cars, uses a decal, same with the GT2 RS, to save weight. And that is part of it. But also, because this is carbon fiber, Eric was saying that apparently it would be so difficult to mold in the depression into which the metal crest fits, that's another reason why the decal is applied. So there's the weight savings, I think it's a couple ounces maybe, but all in the name of high performance. And if you look over my shoulder, here's something that really blew my mind when I first moved out to California from the East Coast. They're still pumping oil out of the ground. And this is an example of a few pumps, and you find them in the most unlikely places around Southern California that still has oil below the ground that they're still reaping to this day. I'm shooting some shots here on the inside so you can take a look at the console. You'll see on these buttons on the left side, you can put the PDK into PDK Sport, which holds the RPMs longer. And in this car, the downshifts coming to a stop sign, for example, are really aggressive. And I've driven this car on a track, the Porsche Experience Center, and it truly is magnificent going into corners and just how it thinks for you and where you want to be. Then there's the suspension setting to go into sports suspension. There's on the right, you see the exhaust for sport exhaust, which is where I leave it all the time. And then there's the front end lift system, which is really vital on this car and on the GT3, not just for driveways, but sometimes for swales going across a road. It goes up in about 3 seconds and down very quickly. And then at the bottom, you can hold the electronic stability control button down, and it'll shut that off, or you can shut off that and traction control. If we scroll upward here, You'll see the GT3 RS logo on the shift lever, and then moving up across the dash, which we explained pretty much in the GT3 video that we did a few months ago. Link is below. And then Nav System here, the Sport Chrono that shows the white dials, as you're going to see on the dash over here. The Sport Chrono can be set as a clock. It always shows the digital time, but it's mostly used for lap timing and even timing between destinations, if you keep track of that sort of thing, as I used to do in terms of how long it took me to get home from work. Again, this has the white dials, and again, just the things that the driver is looking for: water temperature, oil temperature. It's easy to read the digital speedometer, but there's an analog version as well. And then, of course, right in the front, unmistakably, the Porsche 911 TAC, which is something you can see here, the 9,000 RPMs, which is just amazing in these cars. Hey guys, I'm here at Circle Porsche, and I'm standing next to Ernst. Eric's the guy that, as I mentioned on a previous GT3 video, that helped me spec a 2010 Turbo, a 2015 Turbo RS, and now the Pride GT3 that I have, the Gen 2 991. And so I just wanted you to meet Eric. The thing I love about this dealership, as I've mentioned on the video, it's very motorsports oriented. Eric always has really cool cars on the floor. I know there's 2 GT2 RSs here, there's a couple GT3s. There's an old Carrera, an old 356, I guess, right?
Absolutely.
So this is a great place to visit. It's like, I've got another dealership like 2 miles away. This is, I think, about 25, but I always love the drive up here. You'll see in the video that we shot earlier today that Eric was kind enough to let us borrow this car, a lizard green GT3 RS, also Gen 2, and so we did some shots of that. But Eric, maybe you could just say a word for Chris's viewers about what the plans are for the dealership here.
Yeah, so we've still been known as kind of a boutique-y kind of dealership. We don't want to be the biggest in the country. We're more about customer service and kind of interacting one-on-one with customers. We are building a new facility, and our entire facility now is going to be completely renovated, and it's just going to be parts and service. Our new building is just going to be our sales, new car and used car sales department. So we're definitely be expanding. There's a lot going to be going on here within the next year or two, and it's going to be a much needed improvement for it. Plus, hopefully we can get some extra land over here, so we'll easily double in size, which will be really nice, but we'll still concentrate. Our biggest thing that we're concentrating on is customer service and kind of one-on-one environment. So, and that's what I found too, and that means more space. You'll have more cool cars for me to come up and look at, but you know, as you know, Megan and I have been just thrilled with the cars, and just it's a great family relationship, and that's what I think separates this family-owned dealership from some of the others that are now big parts of conglomerates. So I just want your viewers, Chris, to meet Eric. And again, thanks for letting us take this car out. Thanks so much.
Cool.
All right.
Thank you very much.
All right. Thanks.
Okay, guys.